Former President Trump railing against President Biden's DOJ in a brand new reaction to the indictment against him at the Georgia GOP convention, calling the criminal charges a, quote, political hit job. Then he doubled down during a surprise stop at a Waffle House nearby.
The documents, whole thing is a witch hunt. It's a disgrace. It should never happen. It's hurting our country. Joe Biden has 1,850 boxes of documents. He's got documents in Chinatown. He's got documents at Penn. He doesn't want anybody to get them. It's a disgrace what's happening. And you know what? This country's paying a big price. Should never be allowed to happen. We did nothing wrong. Nothing wrong whatsoever. We did absolutely nothing wrong. Take a look at the Presidential Records Act. We did it by the book. Perfect. Except we have thugs and creeps running this country, and it's a real problem for our country.
Yes. Joining us now is former acting U.S. Attorney General Matt Whitaker. Matt, it's great to see you. Thank you so much for doing this. You know, as you know, Trump's own attorneys were forced to testify against him, and there are legal analysts out there saying that this could be grounds for appeal on this issue alone. What do you say?
Yeah, and I agree, and it's good to be with you all today. I mean, I agree that the question of whether or not his attorneys should have been forced to testify against him is a very important question. I think, you know, the president mentioned the Presidential Records Act, and I went back and read that and also read the Espionage Act today just to see the interplay between the two. And the Presidential Records Act says all documents, all records. There's no exception for national defense information. There's no exception for classified information. Everything it seems is captured by the Presidential Records Act, which, as you know, was passed after the Espionage Act. So there are going to be a lot of appeals on this. There's going to be a lot of interesting first impression by courts to decide these issues. But, you know, this case has a lot of twisting and turning through the courts before we ever have a resolution.
Matt, I don't have a legal degree. I don't know the law as much as you do, or as much as other people on this panel do. So when I look at this, I try to put myself in the position of a moderate voter, maybe even a swing voter. And I look at this, I look at everything that we know that Biden's done, everything that we know Hillary Clinton has done, and everything that we understand that Trump has done. And I see a double standard. As a matter of fact, President Trump called this out today. Let's hear it.
By the way, Biden's got 1,850 boxes. He's got boxes in Chinatown, D.C. He's got boxes all over the place. Think of it, 1,850 boxes he had. Mine is peanuts. Biden didn't have any authority, and he had no right to possess those documents, none whatsoever. Yet nothing happened to Crooked Joe. There's an article recently that all presidents take documents out. They bring them out, all of them, virtually every one of them in fairly modern times. And Hillary wasn't indicted. She should have been. But she wasn't indicted. She was protected by the Democrats. Biden was not indicted, and what he's done is terrible. This is a political hit job.
You know, in response to people talking about this parallel, of course, Hillary Clinton, not to be forgotten, says is bringing back, in light of this recent news, she puts this tweet out that says, get a limited edition, but her emails hat, and support Onward Together groups working to strengthen our democracy. I bring that up because that's pretty brazen, isn't it? Like, she's basically saying, hey, I got away with it. President Biden's probably going to get away with it, but we're going to nail Trump for it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of Americans, and you know, including myself, see that double standard, and it can't be explained away. You know, I think that the special counsel certainly is trying to differentiate his case against Donald Trump versus those two other cases. You remember Jim Comey famously said no reasonable prosecutor would bring the case against Hillary Clinton. I disagreed at the time because I thought what she had done it was accessed. Her email server was accessed by foreign adversaries, and that's very concerning. And you know, the Joe Biden case is still progressing. We don't know exactly how that's going to turn out. There is a memo from the Department of Justice that says a sitting president can't be charged while in office. But, you know, all of these things, I think it is the responsibility of the Attorney General to explain how these cases are different and how Donald Trump gets charged, how Joe Biden, his political opponent in 2020 and his most likely political opponent in 2024, how Joe Biden and Merrick Garland and the special counsel that works for both of them can bring a case like this against a political opponent and not have it reek of pure politics.
Matt, Lisa Booth here. We've talked about this on my We've talked about this on my podcast, The Truth with Lisa Booth. We both know he's not going to get a fair trial in New York City with the Alvin Bragg indictment. But this federal case is being tried in the southern district of Florida, where there's going to be Trump supporters. So why there, and what does that mean for him?
Yeah, well, it's really interesting, Lisa. First of all, this case was pretty much investigated out of D.C., and a lot of the evidence was developed and a lot of the judicial decisions were decided in the District of Columbia. And now they've brought the indictment in the Southern District of Florida, certainly a better jury pool than in D.C. Remember, less than 5% of D.C. voters that would have made up that jury pool voted for Donald Trump. So certainly not big fans of Trump. But, you know, you ask jurors, can you be fair and impartial? That's the test for jurors, you know, make sure they don't have any bias. And so in the Southern District of Florida, certainly we'll get more, Republicans and conservatives. But, you know, it's also a question of, I think he's got a really good draw for a judge. You know, Judge Cannon is a very good judge who should be fair in this case. But there's a lot of issues to be decided.
Hey, Matt, it's Joe Contra. Only about 25 seconds, so a quick answer on this one. I want to know about timelines from a news cycle perspective. How long will these legal processes go as far as Alvin Bragg, as far as this federal case in Florida, as far as Georgia potentially? Will they go through the 2024 election, thereby making Trump front and center, a referendum on him in these legal cases, as opposed to Joe Biden and his record on inflation, crime, the border, education?
Especially if the case in Georgia is brought. I don't see any of these cases going to trial before the election, certainly not before the primary is decided by the summer of 2024. So, Joe, this could be a long and winding road, and a lot of these trials may not happen until 2025.
Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.